Well, we're almost done with Big Apple. We've seen the Natural Museum of Natural History and of course, the Met. And today it's on to MoMA and then on to Homa or something. That's pretty awful. Okay, listen, Tesla is set for another gain today, apparently. Both Tesla and all the investors in general seem very happy with the CPI print, which came in better, I guess, than expected. All right, let's talk first, though. Come back to that in a minute. I've got my own thoughts about that. Nobody's talking, though, about Biden's tariff increases yesterday. I don't get that. The one article I did find only looked at the headline increase on the entire automobile when it's produced in China, which increased from 25% to almost 100%. The writer in this article in Barron's and I agree that this will have zero effect on Chinese-made cars in the US because the 25% tariff was already plenty to completely discourage anybody from trying to ship Chinese cars in the United States. But it was kind of an embarrassingly third world kind of number where we kind of look weak as a country using this kind of protectionism because we can't compete. Makes me kind of think India, awful. I don't think it looks good. I think it looks awful. Anyway, not talked at all on this tariff thing. Nobody talked. I couldn't find a single article. I couldn't find anybody, even in X, not even AJ, talking about the increases for steel, aluminum, lithium, and car batteries. Well, for Tesla, I think we're okay. I think maybe that's why nobody's talking about it, because obviously Panasonic's already making in the US. They've got a whole new plant that's going to start making batteries shortly, I think this summer. And then they've also got their own plant, additional manufacturing that they're setting up using CATL's equipment in Reno, and that should be probably coming on stream next year. And then you've got you've got other manufacturers starting to produce in the United States, and we also buy some from South Korea. Tesla buys from South Korea. So I think maybe there's lots of ways to work around this increase with regard to the batteries themselves. Now, when it comes to lithium, of course, we've got the new processing plant being built right now that's supposed to come on stream in January. And that's going to be using, I think, primarily South American lithium. But there's a lot of lithium now that's in the process of potentially being mined in the United States as well. So one way or the other, I don't think any of those affect the US's Tesla in particular. Now, it might affect General Motors or Ford. I don't really have any clue on that. And I also don't know whether the aluminum or the steel tariffs are going to have an effect on any of the companies, including Tesla. But maybe somebody can talk in the comments below about what impact that might have, whether we're really seriously using any Chinese aluminum or steel at this point. I don't know. So to me, it seemed like a nothing burger. It seemed like maybe, some are suggesting that this was a way for Biden to triangulate on Trump, because Trump is making all kinds of noises about more tariffs and more ways to deal with the Chinese and other countries that are unfairly doing things. This isn't that. This doesn't look like, currently the Chinese are being unfair. It looks like protectionism. That is not Trump's approach. That's not what he thinks. That's not the way he thinks. Trump also would, in my opinion, based on history, he would have gotten on the phone with the leadership in China and made some kind of a deal, tried to come up with some kind of a negotiation that would have benefited the United States, and might have helped China a little bit too, but it would have been something that would have been helpful to everyone. That's how negotiations are supposed to work. This was a action by the United States, apparently without any conversation with China at all. I think it's not good leadership. That's just me. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I know you'll say I'm biased, but tell me where I'm wrong. All right. China sales numbers came in yesterday. They continue to be similar to last year, a little bit down from last year, but apparently, based on those who are paying attention, should catch up by the end of the quarter to last year. But nobody's talking about them being higher than last year. quite frankly, I haven't spent a lot of time recently looking at Europe or even US numbers or even what TSLA and others are saying about the quarter. Last I heard, it sounds to me like most people are looking for maybe a flat quarter year over year. That wouldn't be good news, but it could be worse. All right. Then we've got, according to the Wall Street Journal, Robin Denholm and other Tesla leadership, other members of the board plan to spend the next several weeks crisscrossing the globe trying to increase the yes vote on this upcoming compensation package for Elon. And Tesla has also taken out some ads promoting a yes vote on the package. So I don't know if that indicates that they're worried that it'll be close, whether they just want it to be overwhelming so that it sends a message to the Baltimore courts, to the Delaware courts. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but that's what they're doing. I'm just reporting. All right. This is Randy Kirk. By the way, you might have forgotten I've been away. Just hit like, hit subscribe. I got nothing else but me this week. That's for sure. It'll be me maybe tonight. It'll be me maybe tomorrow morning. And then definitely starting a Friday morning back full time. All right. Yahoo Finance is reporting this morning. Retail sales, this is overall US retail sales, were flat for the month. This is according to data, obviously, from the Commerce Department. This concerns, a little bit more consumer pullback if you got zero increase. I mean, this is flat, meaning no increase over the prior month. The consumer is, starting to pull back. I mean, that's what it's suggesting. This was a slowdown from last month's 0.6% month over month increase in March. And economists were expecting a 0.4% increase this month. So this is way, way off. Now you take out autos and gas, retail sales declined by 0.1% last month. Again, that's suggesting that auto sales were okay last month. That's not what I've been hearing. But when I say okay, slightly up. And what economists had expected a 0.1% increase for this category without automobiles involved. Overall, this is suggest definitely that auto also missed big time compared to expectations. Non-store retailers led the declines. They fell 1.2 from the month prior. Sporting goods and hobby stores also declined. Sales at clothing and accessory stores rose. Gasoline sales picked up. Of course, that was because prices increased. Now, those prices are going down again this month, so that could have an impact. We could be looking at negative retails next month if, in fact, consumers are pulling back. Now, this update, it says in the article on consumer spending, comes as economists are closely watching for any signs of weakness in the U.S. economy amid the Fed's pivot to keep interest rates high for longer than expected. All right, then we got the CPI. All right. Now, the CPI came in a tiny bit better than expected, but still at 0.3% month over month, and still in the threes for year over year. And then the market gained. I mean, it was such a small beat. Now, if you've got the expectation already baked in, and then you have any kind of a beat, you're going to get a correction, maybe a little higher. But no, this was a nice big increase in the Dow in particular. And maybe this was in combination with those weak retail numbers that I just mentioned, which would suggest that the Fed might have to take action. However, to my eye, what we're looking at is continued inflation at much higher levels than the Fed could possibly lower rates while we have these kind of numbers. And we have a slowing economy, and that looks an awful lot like stagflation to me. Again, I'd love to hear your comments below. I didn't see good news in weak retail and continued very high compared to the Fed's requirement. I don't think they're going to change the requirement. So if you're looking at 3.5, 3.6% inflation, the Fed says 2.0. No, the Fed's not anywhere close to reducing interest rates at this point. So I'm a little shocked by the response in the market. Let's take a look at how that response continues. First of all, the breaking news is the S&P 500 rises to an all-time high after light consumer inflation report. I didn't read it that way. Did you? Curious to hear your thoughts. Okay, let's look at the I'm sorry, let's look at Tesla. Let's look at the equities first. We got Tesla. Oh my goodness. It was up 6 and up 4 or 5, and now it's down 0.43. I got no reason for that. Let's see, I'm looking at the headlines just real quick for you. No, there's nothing to suggest why that big decrease from the pre-market, as well as the pre-market was up like, I'm sorry, I think it wasn't up 6, it was up I think around 3 or 4, but now down 78 cents in the early going. We've got the Dow up 216, the NASDAQ up 106, S&P up 27, and we have got the Magnificent Seven trading in a NVIDIA well up 15, Microsoft up, Meta up, but the rest are kind of near zero, are negative, including Amazon being down a bit. All right, I think doesn't Amazon report tomorrow? I think they do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Amazon no, it's not Amazon. It is not Amazon. They've already reported. Okay, then you've got the Kathy Wood stocks are all up this morning. Yeah, so there must have been some news on Tesla that I'm just not aware of happening within the last 10 minutes while I was starting to prepare the show. Okay, so let's look at the percentages. We've got the Dow Jones up 0.56, NASDAQ up 0.68, S&P up 0.58, and again, Tesla down 0.54, still staying in that around $1 down. Okay, now let's take a look at the bonds. We've got the bonds, the 10-year down 7.2 basis points to 4.373. We've got the 2-year down 6.2 basis points at 4.757. That is a slight widen again in the inversion. And we've got the 2-month down 1.2 basis points with a large increase. So we're now back to 100 basis points between the 10-year and the 2-month, which is by far the largest amount of inversion that we've had in months. It's been around 75 for several months now. Don't know what that means anymore because we're now into 20 or 21 months of this inversion. It's almost becoming normal to be inverted. Don't know how to explain that. The economists don't apparently either because we're seeing nothing, nobody talking about it. Okay, we've got oil down 66 cents again, 77.36 for Texas Intermediate, Brent at 81.68. All very good for the stocks, all very good for inflation, but for the oil business, getting back down into the 70s like that is not good long term. They're making up a little bit of it with natural gas, although it is a little bit down this morning. It's sitting at 234, which is the highest it's been in quite a while. We've got gold up another 15 bucks this morning. Not sure why gold would be up on the good inflation, so-called good inflation numbers. 2374, getting very, very close to that 2400 level again. Copper has now crashed through its all-time high, sitting at $4.91, passing that 475 number strongly now. The dollar is down, of course, in this news, but not very much, just a bit. We've got the Bitcoin up 2,970 at 64,520. That's the strongest it's been in quite a while. All right, so I'm not sure what happened to Tesla this morning. Let's take a look. Did it continue? Yes, down too, even as the market continues up. Hard call. Don't know why. I will put something in the first response, the first comment below. If I see something that is maybe causing this, I'll put that down in the comments, pinned to the top. If I don't see anything, I won't put anything. All right. So as mentioned, I will be back 100% Friday morning, probably maybe tomorrow morning, maybe tomorrow night. Not sure exactly how that's going to play out as I travel. All right. It's been great talking to you.